Hey, YouTubers. So just so you guys know, before we even start tonight, I'm not feeling well. I don't think Gary's feeling totally well. Are you 100% yet, Eric?
My cold's mostly gone.
So he's the only one of us who's actually at 100%.
But I'm exhausted from work.
So there you go. And I know about a week ago you weren't feeling so well,
No,
so it's I'm probably about where you were a week ago. So we're gonna trudge through this one, I promise. Okay. Hey, GalaxyCast fans! Welcome to this episode of the GalaxyCast. I have 3 people in my studio tonight. I have with me Eric the Artist.
Hello, everyone.
I have with me Gary the Stud.
That would be me.
And I am your host, Bob Chrisman.
Cool beans.
Cool beans. So we're going to talk about 3 topics tonight to start off our show. We're going to talk about the Deadpool trailer. I'm going to say that wrong. Deadpool 2 trailer, the second time around. We're going to talk about the last trailer for Ready Player One, which is going to come out very soon. And then we're going to talk about a very seldom talked about lawsuit with LFL and a gentleman in England. And I think it has some big, profound impact in the Star Wars realm. So we're going to talk about that tonight. So let's start with the big one, which is the Deadpool 2 trailer, the second trailer for Deadpool 2. So this is an interesting trailer.
I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. I know you were right.
Fucking car!
Oh, I shit my pants.
Actually, that may have been me.
Oh, you're living the dreams, DP.
Yeah.
Devil may care attitude. Strong thighs. Beautiful girlfriend.
Sorry I'm late. I was rounding up all the gluten in the world and launching into space where it can't not hurt us ever again.
Kiss me like you miss me, Red.
What in the fuxicle is this? What in the fuxicle is this?
My name's Cable. I'm here for the kid.
What? The kid?
Move or die.
Kids give us a chance to be better than we used to be. He needs you.
You're a lot smarter than I look. I ain't letting Cable kill this kid. But I can't do this alone.
Can you speak up? It's hard to hear you with that pity dick in your mouth.
We're gonna form a super duper fucking group. Kingdom tough, morally flexible, and young. But I can't do this alone.
Can you speak up? It's hard to hear you with that pity dick.
But I can't do this alone.
Can you speak up? It's hard to hear you with that pity dick in your mouth.
We're gonna form a super duper fucking group. Kingdom tough, morally flexible, and young enough to. Kingdom tough, morally flexible. We're gonna form a super duper fucking group. Kingdom tough. Group. Kingdom tough. Morally flexible and young enough to carry. morally flexible, and young enough to carry their own franchise for 10 to 12 years. It will be known as X-Force.
Isn't that a little derivative?
You're absolutely right. Now, let's go get our fuck on. Don't call it a... Now. 10 to 12 years. It will be known as X-Force.
Isn't that a little derivative?
You're absolutely right. Now, let's go get... our fuck on. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm rocking my feet. Putting suckers in fear. Making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go. Tell me they got... down like a monsoon. I'm rocking my feet. Putting suckers in fear. Making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go. Tell me they got that in slow motion. Doing the right thing is messy. But if you want to fight for what's right, sometimes you have to fight dirty. And that is why Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants is pure pornography.
Oh, God, I wish I finished college.
It lives up to the hype, plus.
Fuck it, they probably won't even make a 3.
Yeah, why would they? Stop it too. You killed it.
Well, a lot of people say Hugh Jackman coming in to...
I was just about to say, what if Hugh Jackman comes in not as Wolverine but Weapon X?
as Hugh Jackman.
Oh yeah, I get what
Because
you're
they
saying.
made fun of him by using his
Yeah,
face. So.
they could. I'm wondering if they could put him in as Weapon X and then bring him in as Wolverine
It's not Wolverine, it's
Right.
Weapon X.
Right, and then bring him in as Wolverine in the Avengers
Right.
eventually. You know what I mean? So then he can do his.
Yeah, because
Wolverine
now there's
workaround.
rumors that he may come in into the Avengers movies.
as we've discussed.
Yeah.
It may actually be a thing, and it might actually happen.
If it happens, cool. If it doesn't,
I don't care either way.
I'd like to see it though. It'd be fun.
I'd definitely like to see Wolverine come back in some way. It doesn't have to be Hugh Jackman.
I think we're going to be getting the X-Men and all that eventually. I think
we have to.
that's going into Phase 4 or whatever it is, or phase after the 2 Avengers movies, where Kevin Feige's been known to say the universe is going to be drastically different. I'm still convinced that means X-Men, it means Fantastic Four, and because now the other hot rumor is that we're going to get a cameo in Avengers.
Yeah,
of a
I've heard
character
that too.
that no one thought was going to be in there, and it's the Silver Surfer.
Yeah. And I still think his idea of drastically different may be the Skrull War.
Right, yeah. You keep
where
going
everything
back to that.
drastically is different. Like, as in Cap's not Cap, Thor's not Thor, all those people are not who you thought they were. It would be an interesting way to reset. Gary, what do you think drastically different means?
Drastically different.
That's definitive.
He's very literal.
He is very literal tonight.
Okay. What I think drastically different means?
Yeah.
3.
3. Okay. Not 4, not 2, but 3.
So what do you think of the Deadpool trailer?
Looks alright. I still ain't... My worries are still out there because you're really not going to be able to top the first one.
So you don't think this will kick top the first
I'm
one?
hoping that this one's more humorous. Funny to say that, but I felt that there were a lot of long stretches in Deadpool that weren't humorous that got pretty dark and I know they were doing that to establish the character and But then it's a weird combination to do that and then do fourth wall breaking slapstick comedy. So, you know, I'm hoping that in this one they kind of embrace the crazy a bit more.
I am hopeful of it, but I am weary of it about it setting up X-Force. I just hope that they do that correctly and they don't rush through this. You know what I mean? In an effort to get to X-Force, rush through introducing characters that maybe would be cool to drag out and give a storyline to it, and we're just going to quickly, like, here's this character, here's that character, there's Domino, go, you know?
You put in too many characters, you have that whole character introduction issue where...
The Justice League had, you know?
But you did, like, with Avengers... You don't have that issue. People go, well, what about you got 20 characters to fit in there? I'm like, we know them all, though. We know them all intimately back and forth. We don't need any introductions.
They've each got at least one movie apiece. You know what I mean? So
we just see them on screen. We know everything we need to know. They don't have to worry about introduction.
Right.
But they didn't do that with Justice League. We met new characters, and they didn't really tell us anything about them, and then we were into the movie.
Right.
So that's the difference, I think. And that's why I'm not worried about Avengers.
Right. But that's why I worry about this one a little bit.
Yes.
Which I think the reason why DC movies are flopping.
Hang on.
Yeah, let's pause.
Stupid phone. I guarantee it's not my wife. Sorry, YouTubers. I can edit this out of the... Oh, good, my wife's on Front Street. It's not her. Checking to see if it was. It's probably some telemarketer.
Oh, yeah. I don't get any phone calls on my regular phone
8:23 at night. Thank you, telemarketers.
You're just calling to see if you're awake.
Usually I am. Taking a nap right around.
We have a very special offer for you.
Yeah. Okay. All right, go ahead, Gary.
Okay, well, what I think DC's mentality is everybody knows their characters, so we don't need to do a backstory on them.
It's the wrong choice.
I know.
Totally.
Well, okay, so I'll give you this. I don't need Superman's backstory anymore. I don't need Batman's backstory anymore. We're good with those two.
Right, now we got Wonder Woman out there who already has a backstory already done.
And you know they'll reintroduce it at least 4 more times, which, okay. But my point is, you didn't give any backstory to Cyborg. My wife had no idea who he was. We gave 0 backstory to the Flash. She knew who he was, but only thanks to the fact that I'm a huge Flash fan. And who was the other character?
And you have a TV show that
Aquaman.
Right, I watched. Aquaman. You gave some of a backstory, but very little of a backstory there.
He apparently likes to help people in Newfoundland or whatever.
Yeah, Newfoundland.
And drink and hide away.
Right, that's about all we know about him.
And that's it. And then he shows up and becomes a teammate and fights. Oh yeah, let's fight.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be this big old baddie, and I don't feel it. I didn't feel it from that movie. So it's really weird. Like, DC just does not know how to do this. Yeah. Yet here we are with X-Force, and I'm worried they're going to pull the same thing. Like, we're about to do the same thing. Now, on the flip side of that, I love Ryan Reynolds movies. I mean, I hate to say it. There's not a lot of movies by Ryan Reynolds I don't like. And so this is another opportunity where I'm going to be like, all right, I get to see Ryan Reynolds again. This will be cool. And I like his version of Deadpool. I just worry about all the other characters around him. You know,
his Deadpool works, but like I said, my problem with this take on the character has always been they don't portray the insanity.
Yeah.
They portray a humorous wisecracker,
right,
who apparently knows he's in a movie, which has those weird fourth wall breaking moments, but they don't add the insanity to kind of tie it together to make you understand his mental state. Here's
the other one I'm a little worried about. We're about to have Colossus again.
Yes.
I'm hoping we do him justice again. You know what I mean? I thought they did a pretty good job of the first one.
Is it the same guy playing him?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it is. I think it is.
Which I thought, I don't know how you, because Gary, I know he's one of your favorite characters. I don't know how you felt about how they portrayed him in the first one, but I thought they did a pretty good job portraying him.
I think they did a really good job on him.
Of all the Colossuses, I think he's been the best one so far. I hope they
definitely got the size right with him, and the
character.
I don't want to say the pacifist.
Yeah,
part of him, but they got that part.
Right. Yeah, his attitude.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. His character. I think
the gentle giant part.
Right. Yeah, and I hope they continue with that. So, okay. So next on our list is the trailer for Ready Player One, which is a Steven Spielberg movie.
A hidden keep, a leap not taken. Retrace your steps, escape your past, and the key will be yours at last. What part of your past are you trying to escape, Halliday? taken. Retrace your steps, escape your past, and the key will be yours at last. What part of your past are you trying to escape, Halliday?
This is the Oasis, a whole virtual universe. Oasis, a whole virtual universe. You can do anything, be anyone, without going anywhere at all. The Oasis was created by James Halliday, and what he left behind changed everything. A contest. 3 impossible challenges. The first to finish gets complete control of the Oasis, which means complete control of the future.
The contest has got to be about connecting with someone, connecting with the world. So we take it together?
Sure.
The contest has got to be about connecting with someone, connecting with the world. So we take it together?
Sure.
So we take it together?
Sure.
Take it together?
Sure. Save the Oasis.
Save the world.
Players, are you ready?
That's better. I'll wave to you from the finish line. McFly.
That went well.
The tough sell of this particular movie is just the idea that this trailer's got to be able to sell it.
Yeah.
I worry about it being too 80s-ish. You know what I mean? Like too much 80s stuff thrown at us all at once. I also worry the fact that it seems like they're really hanging on that Steven Spielberg name. You know what I mean? It just seems to be heavily like, hey, it's directed by Steven Spielberg. Come see it. You know, the guy that did E.T., the guy that did War of the Worlds. You got to come see this. You know, I worry because there are right now. All right, people are gonna hate me for saying this, but I don't care. There are Steven Spielberg movies out there that were total poop because
he's not got to prove it.
He tied his name to something and he hoped it would make it better. And I'm not always convinced that Steven Spielberg makes good movies. You know, George Lucas has had his name on some pretty bad projects too, and you know, so sometimes I think just having somebody's name tied to it doesn't suddenly make me go, I gotta go check that movie out.
Right.
So I don't know.
See, the problem with this is, and we've said it already, the concept is awesome.
Right.
But to explain it, to sell it in the form of a movie trailer is really hard. And they are playing up the special effect action-oriented sequence side of it much more than they are the concept.
Right.
And I don't know. I'm going to go see it.
Part of me says they should have put on there based on the best-selling book by blah blah blah.
Yeah.
if you'd have done that, I'd have gone, oh, maybe I gotta go check this book out. If I'd have read that, I might have gone, no, I gotta go see the movie. But you didn't even do that. So, like, it's part of me, I didn't even know it was based on a book till you said that today. I was like, oh, I didn't even know it was a book.
There's a whole chapter or section in the book that's based around Rush music.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the band Rush, and tying into, like, their album covers and stuff like that, which I was never into Rush in the 80s, so that was the one section where I kind of just went through going, okay, I get that they're...
I liked some of Rush music.
But then I watched the first trailer, and they showed this giant race scene, and what's the music playing over the giant race
the Rush,
scene?
yeah.
It was Rush.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, at least they're being true to the book in some ways, that maybe Rush will be a major part of the soundtrack and tie in. And so, like I said, I'm interested in it because I was, it's basically a movie about everyone who likes video games and Easter eggs and everyone who likes 80s nostalgia. It's those two things tied together into a sci-fi adventure.
Okay. All right. I get what you're saying. I don't know if that's enough to sell a movie. That's my thing,
The marketing on it has been weird, and I think it's not due to them not trying. I think it's a tricky explanation.
Yeah, I get it.
To sell.
Gary, what do you think? Is this a movie you are sold on or no?
Well, when I first saw the trailer for it, I was like, might be interesting. But then a couple friends on my Facebook page have been fighting over it.
Really?
One guy saying it's going to suck. The other guy said it's going to be great.
Okay, now what are their reasons?
Because of too much of the nostalgia aspect of the of the book and all that. They both read the book, and it's one guy just says it's just over the top of everything that they're throwing into the movie. That is,
and it is. This is definitely more like what I'm seeing here. Looks like mostly the end of the book gets really big,
right?
But for most of the adventure, it's not like huge,
big world kind of thing.
It is big world, but it's this guy experiencing the big world. He's kind of adventuring and doing things, and he has a couple friends that go with him, and then it ties into the real world. There's kind of a secondary adventure going on in reality while he tries to survive, because basically the company doesn't like people trying to win this Easter egg, and in the real world they might try and do some bad stuff to you. So it's kind of like a double adventure in the book. It's too much to pack into a 2-hour movie. And there are certain things that I thought were fantastic in the book that I'll guarantee you they couldn't get copyright permission for that are not going to be in the movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm going to... I mean, I have no idea how this interpretation is going to go. It does look jam-packed. I agree. It looks like they chock-filled it full of visuals. I just hope the story they tell lives up to it.
And that's I guess, where I'm at. Like, I'm worried that that's all it's about. Is about, hey, look, there's the Iron Giant. Oh, look, there's the Jurassic Park T-Rex. And that's all they're expecting you to look for. And everything else is just fluff throughout the whole thing.
No, that's the only reason why I want to go watch it.
Well, just to see all the stuff in the background?
See what they throw in it.
That's because you and I are background watchers, and we look for stupid stuff like that.
I made you a background
watcher. You did make me a background watcher, I'll admit. And I have to admit, that's going to be the challenge watching this movie, is to catch all the stuff in the background.
There's way too much.
But that's why I would want to get it on DVD, so that I could go and pause. Oh, look, there's this, and this.
And it's fighting with a lot. I mean, right now we've got Avengers hype. A couple weeks out. We've got...
Even Black Panther's still going strong
Black Panther's still rocking. We've got Solo, which is not getting advertised anywhere near the way it should be.
Have you noticed that? Not as many commercials there used to be about
it. I do think it's got issues. I think they're kind of underselling it and hoping that it surprises. But it's, it's a packed spring.
It is.
I mean, we've even got, like, Rampage coming up, which looks fun.
It looks interesting.
From some of the trailers I've seen, it's like they've put quite a story into that video game.
Yeah, but I want to see the video game.
I agree with you. I know. It makes me want to go find the video game and download it and play it now again. You know what I mean? I used to like playing that at the arcade.
I think I had it for the Xbox, the original Xbox.
Probably. One of the monsters is going to eat a person and burp.
Yeah,
they're going to have to. Yeah.
So.
Okay, our last topic we want to talk about for the beginning of this evening is a lawsuit. A film producer... No. Or we wouldn't be here. A film producer sued LFL, and I can't believe I'm saying this, and won. They sued... Now, here's where it gets weird. They sued for more than £1 million, this was a lawsuit in England, so it's all in pounds. But they won £39,000. There's a pretty big difference there between $1 million and $39,000.
But to win $39,000 against Lucasfilm...
From LFL is a big deal. I mean, the fact that he won $5 from the LFL is a big deal, if you ask me. This gentleman, his name is Mark Johnson from Quantum Digital, wanted to... Basically, I'm understanding right. He wanted to film The Love of the Force, For the Love of the Force, which was basically a Comic-Con, right, or a Star Wars convention.
It sounds like it says right here, I think it was a English Star Wars convention in England.
And the idea behind the convention was, love of Star Wars and all that kind of stuff. But the centerpiece was supposed to be an interview with the Darth Vader actor David Prowse. Now, for those who don't know, David Prowse was the original guy in the Darth Vader suit. Did not voice it. Obviously, James Earl Jones did that. But he was the 6 foot whatever guy inside of Darth Vader's costume.
If it wasn't a stunt man, he was the one sword fighting Luke. Yeah. He was the one being big and imposing.
Kind of what Peter Mayhew was to Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Now, there's a history here that you have to understand a little bit first before we get into the lawsuit itself.
Bob, give us the history.
Well, David Prowse was pretty popular with George Lucas for a long time through Star Wars and even into Empire Strikes Back, right up until Empire Strikes Back. What was it? About a couple weeks before it came out, Gary? Is that?
I think so, yeah.
It was leaked from the set that maybe Darth Vader was Luke's father, and everybody blamed David Prowse that he was the one that leaked it, that he gave it out there.
Now, giving a little context, why would they have blamed him? He was someone voicing a little displeasure, I think, at this point, wasn't he?
He was a little bit.
Because he was an unknown. He never got to be seen. He never got to be heard. I think he was.
And they weren't allowing him to sign autographs even up till this point. They weren't giving him any sort of credit. When he talked
about his name on the credits.
Obviously on the credits, but like when they would talk about Darth Vader, they always referenced James Earl Jones. They never said David Prowse and James Earl Jones brought Darth Vader to life. It was always James Earl Jones brought Darth Vader to life, which left David Prowse with a really bad taste in his mouth, and I can kind of understand that. We've watched a lot of documentaries ourselves where David Prowse talks about his viewpoint on these things. And
I Am Your Father was the one we watched.
Right, and I appreciate David Prowse's position. I think he was stuck in a really bad spot and then he and George Lucas just basically, after Empire, they did not get along. That's the best way to put it.
It wasn't on David's part. It was on George Lucas's part.
Oh, absolutely.
Anything else.
I agree with you.
He blamed David Prowse, and he would not listen to any.
Yeah, and the big break came, as we saw from that documentary we watched in Return of the Jedi, when Prowse was convinced he was going to be the face under the mask.
Right.
And later found out that scene was filmed without him, and he didn't even know. It's like they didn't even tell him.
Right. They didn't even have the guts to tell him we're going to do this with a different actor.
And I think at that point,
Sebastian Shaw got stuck in the middle, and it was just like, and that's what I really felt bad for David Prowse, because he didn't even know that they were going to do this to him.
Right, and I think if they had told him, I think he might have been all right with it.
Right, if they had told him up front first, then I think he'd have been okay with it.
No, because they never told him that all his voicing during the filming of A New Hope, and
that it was going to get voiced over, if I remember correctly. He thought he was the voice.
Yep.
And so they never even told him that. So here he is, kind of goofing around behind the mask, but also trying to take it seriously, but thinking he'd be dubbing it over later, and then finding out, nope, James Earl Jones was doing that. I mean, this poor guy got pushed around. So I felt bad. And so that animosity, I think, is what added to this, because they were highlighting David Prowse as the center of this convention, and I don't think LFL was really happy about that.
This guy, Mark John, was going to film this interview with David Prowse, and then the big key is he wanted to stream it as one of these live events to cinemas in the United States.
Right. To over 1,200, right? I think they said cinemas worldwide. I'm thinking at least a couple hundred here in the United States.
Right, and another thing you need to put out there, too, is at this point in the game, David Prowse was banned from any Star Wars conventions.
In America or the world?
The world.
So he was appearing at this without permission.
It wasn't technically a LFL.
And that's where it got weird, remember? Because this is put on by that Candy and Vents Ltd.
Yeah, Candy Events.
CEL, which was not a Disney-backed company. And it's the other weird thing. This is Disney LFL.
Well, you gotta remember, though, it's still LFL.
You're right, but it's Disney LFL. They got bought out by this point.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about 2015, just before The Force Awakens came out.
Right. So why didn't Disney
lift the ban?
Well, not necessarily just lift the ban, but just talk with them.
Right.
See what.
Right. Negotiate it out. Yeah. I part of me says this was a grab for money for them, or an attempt to just silence a group of people. Quite honestly. In hopes that they would get intimidated and just shut it down.
Right.
And I hate it when Disney does stuff like that to try to intimidate people and shut it down.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you on this part, Bob.
Okay.
I know Disney owns LFL, but this is LFL that's did it.
Okay.
So stick with LFL and not Disney.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you the whole time when you say Disney on this part.
Okay.
So
you don't think the two companies are working hand in hand, though? I mean, I see the two of them as being joint.
I do, but this is LFL's beef against David Prowse.
I mean, you're right there, yeah. I guess that's where I'm like...
This is where I'm upset with the mouse, because the mouse hasn't come to David Prowse.
Disney is just
that's what I'm saying, yeah. Why didn't Disney come to David Prowse and try to negotiate this out?
I don't think Disney is any part of this. I think, like he's saying, they're just like, well, we own Lucasfilm. Whatever they decide, it's fine with us.
Right.
Because they know their rights and they know what they're doing. And I think Disney's just taking hands off.
I know what you're saying. I think a lot of us hoped that with Disney buying it out, maybe they would reset some of these stupid things that have happened. And unfortunately... that's not the case. LFL's decided to hang on to its old grudges, its old ways, and unfortunately, you're right. LFL drug this into this situation, and it was interesting too because they thought this guy. Their basic belief at the end of this thing is he would not have made profit. He would have lost money on it.
Right.
I'd love to know where they come up with that. Numbers wise, I just don't see it losing. I just don't.
Maybe over here in America, we wouldn't have flocked to the theater to watch this, but
if I had a chance,
the world, I think so.
Well, I think if he had a chance to advertise for it, which he obviously didn't, we might have flocked to it. You know,
I just don't. I don't see too many people in America flocking to a movie theater to watch a convention.
Yeah, I mean, maybe an interview with David Prowse, I might, and it depends on the price, too. You know, if you're talking about $5 a ticket, okay, I'll go in and pay $5 a ticket to watch an interview with David Prowse. If it's, you know, a movie ticket price at, $16 a piece, all right, maybe not so much, because, I mean, heck, I could go to a Comic-Con for that price, so... And, I get what you're saying, Gary. It would have been a hard sell, I get it. And I guess that's why they only rewarded... 39,000 pounds as opposed to $1 million?
Well, I think the 39,000 pounds is to cover his costs for everything that he was going to take to the convention and video everything.
Right, the cost of the convention itself.
Well, the part that confuses me, and it's not really explained well, is how associated was this... If this convention wasn't associated with LFL, how did LFL get to say... Because the convention basically said, oh, you're not coming anymore, to the guy. And it was because LFL told him not to do it. So they are somehow connected with LFL, because LFL was telling them, don't have this guy film your convention.
Well, the one thing we don't know is what other Star Wars actors were at the...
Right. You think there might have been sanctions?
They could have pulled those actors away from that convention if they let them do that.
Right. So basically what you're saying is... Even though the convention wasn't an LFL-sanctioned event, they still had people showing up there who were repped by LFL or, for signing
stuff. I was going to go one step further and say they could even threaten to yank the 501st Rebel Legion Mando Mercs from coming because we are backed by LFL and they could basically tell us, nope, you can't go to this because we're saying you can't.
Right. So basically, it does seem to come down to the fact that they got word that this guy wanted to broadcast a David Prowse interview, and they pushed on the convention saying, hey, don't let him do that because we'll pull everything. And, I mean, we're paraphrasing here. We don't know if they threatened that or not.
Yeah.
But
it sounds like that's
the way it went, because then the convention said to the guy, you're not filming, and then the guy went and sued saying, hey, I just had a bunch of profit taken away from me.
Right.
Which the other aspect too is if they streamed it live in the theaters and stuff, LFL wasn't getting a dime out of that money either.
And that might have been part of it too, because now all of a sudden the money ain't flowing back to LFL either. But I still think it goes back to the David Prowse.
It does.
It absolutely does.
It absolutely does.
And my question is going to forever be, when are we going to let this go? I mean, seriously, when are we going to let this go?
Right.
This is the dumbest argument in Star Wars history ever.
Now, here's the question I got for George Lucas that I have not heard anybody ask at all. How did David Prowse know that he was Darth Vader was Luke's father? He didn't even know it when he was making it.
Yeah, because apparently you've heard interviews with Mark Hamill.
Actually, they've admitted that, haven't they?
Yeah.
Openly on camera.
Yes. Mark Hamill does interviews, and he has told the story where he said there's only like 3 people. Lucas, the director, and the producer, I think, who knew, and they went and they told him, we want your reaction, but because this is going to be the actual line recording, and if it gets out, we'll know you said, because it's only the other ones of us who know. So why do they think Prowse knew? Unless, we don't know the behind the scenes. Could the word have become more spread throughout the cast as it got closer to
release? It was Luke, it was Prowse.
No, Prowse didn't know.
Sorry. Luke, It was Luke, the producer, Kirschman. It was
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones. That was the other one I was going to put
He
in.
did the line.
And then George Lucas, because Jones had to do the line.
Right.
But those were the only 4 that knew. So you're right. David Prowse, no idea.
Right. But this is when, now that story that I've heard was when the filming happened.
Correct.
Then you've got like a year and a half before the movie came out, and during that time, did more word get spread to the cast? Did other people know? I mean, but there's a Mark Hamill told a story.
There's a caveat that all those people suddenly who are in the editing room, who are in production,
there's people
they're
who
going to
know.
see it
Sound
and
editing.
know.
But
so you're talking more than just David Prowse knowing.
But I saw Mark Hamill on a Graham Norton show talking about that famous line, and he talks the story, and he says, I remember sitting there having to keep this secret for like a year and a half, and I remember sitting there at the premiere, and Harrison Ford turning to me going, you didn't tell me that was going to happen. And it's like, he didn't know. So there were major people involved who didn't know. So why did they think Prowse knew?
I don't know. I think he was just a scapegoat. He was an easy scapegoat for George.
Because he was displeased with the fact that he was not the voice of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And then during Return of the Jedi...
and he had enough guts to stand up to the director and say, I don't like this.
Right.
And instead of just taking it as criticism, which George Lucas could have, I mean, put on your big boy britches.
Well, even Kasdan, or whoever directed the Empire there.
It's
Lawrence Kasdan?
Lawrence Kasdan, yeah.
He didn't agree with David Prowse either, so there's 2 against 1 there.
Yep.
Then the director of Return of the Jedi...
Richard Marquand.
They had the same problem with Prowse.
Not Richard Marquand.
I can't remember who directed. Not David Lynch, even though he was
No, it wasn't David Lynch. Yeah, it was another guy. I can't remember. But I know who you're talking about, yes. So
they all had problems with Prowse. So was Prowse hard to get along with on the set, or what? That's a big question.
Yeah.
I guess that's a question that could only be left to the other actors, or actresses on the stage.
But what this story comes down to is, kids, if you got a gripe against Lucasfilm, don't give up. You might win £39,000.
Right.
Or $5.
Or $5. It's an interesting story.
I'd sell for $3.
It's an interesting story. I also think it's a thing of like, how far do you want to take a grudge, and how far do you want to drag something through the mud before it's not worth it anymore?
This guy may have had money, like Gary was saying. It sounds like this guy had monetary investment in getting to this. I mean, he probably bought plane tickets. He probably garnered equipment. He had plans.
I'm not necessarily talking about the guy. I actually understand this guy's point of view. I'm just talking about the David Prowse thing. Like, how far do you want to drag that?
Right.
You know what I mean? To me, it just seems very petty to keep dragging this out. Why can't people just get along? I don't get it. Forgive and forget a little bit here. I know David's got some sour feelings about all this, but I think it's time to come to the table and just negotiate this out and get it done with, and just admit that David Prowse is the guy in the suit. I mean, heck, Disney doesn't want to mention that. Excuse me, LFL doesn't even want to mention that. Gary was giving me a look. But I mean, that's important to me. Why can't we just get along and get this done and move on? I don't know. Maybe I'm expecting too much out of LFL. I probably am. So... Okay, so those were our thoughts on our 3 topics tonight. The Deadpool 2 trailer, the Ready Player One trailer. I'm going to say that wrong all the time. And the lawsuit between LFL and this gentleman in England. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Head on over to our website, GalaxyCast.com. Email us, galaxycast@gmail.com. We'd love to get feedback from anybody. Please. YouTube channel, Twitter. Find us on Facebook. And we'll be back in just a little bit. We're going to record about the next episode of Star Wars Rebels. Okay, YouTubers, we're going to pause and we'll be back. Okay, Gary, none of that yawning thing.
Well, we're going to try not to.
Yeah, I know. I'm in the same boat. It's amazing what happens when you get older. I'm telling you. When you get older, you get more tired. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, just wait until you get my and Eric's age.
What, 5 years older than me?
Yes, those 5 years are a bitch, though.
Okay, here we go. Hey, folks, welcome back to this episode of the GalaxyCast as we talk about the latest episode to us of Star Wars Rebels titled Doom. D-U-M-E, not D-O-O-M. Right. Because I feel like I have to say that.
And not D-U-N-E.
Right, as in the movie Dune.
By Frank Herbert.
Correct, in the movie.
And not D-U-M.
Which would be dumb.
Right.
And not D-O-O-M, the video game, because that's a first-person shooter.
I kind of feel like I have to say that, though, every time I see this name.
Or D-U-M-E.
DUME?
I was going to say, I think we should refer
dummy.
to this episode as DUME.
DUME. It's French, really. Put your pinkies up, too, while you're watching it.
Pronouncing things incorrectable.
Right. So I love in the show notes you're going to read. This is a reeling from a devastating loss. The Ghost Crew rallies together to find a new purpose and resolve. That's it. We're done.
End of review.
That's the episode. We're good.
Thank you, folks. Good night.
Good night. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, we are reeling from the loss of Kanan, and that's pretty much half the episode.
You guys are.
Well, I mean, we, as in the Rebel crew, I should say. Clarify that.
The Rebel crew is upset because Kanan died.
And here's where I'm lost. I did not have an emotional tie to Kanan the whole stinking time. None whatsoever. So when he died, I was kind of like, oh, okay, well, guess that's why he's not in A New Hope now, you know, like it just... Yeah. And so, like, this whole episode was supposed to rip on your heartstrings, and part of me is sitting here saying, maybe I'm just a soulless jerk, but I did not make any connection with this character at all. Did you guys feel the same way? Like we had a lot of, like, crying in this episode, and to me, I was just kind of like, about what? Like, you know, like, I don't know. Maybe I am a soulless jerk.
It's just been the characterization and the way it's worked for us ever since the beginning, is we've never felt connected to these people.
Right.
We've always been waiting for those stories and that. I remember back before the show came on, and we watched a teaser that was like, I don't know, like a minute or two long, and the two of them were in the Ghost. They were like bantering with each other as they were like fighting off TIE fighters or something. And I was like, wow, I love the banter between these two. This is great. And then the show came out, and that seemed to be all gone, and everyone just got stoic.
Yeah.
And didn't seem to have a whole lot of character, at least in my opinion. And it's been that way. It's been a struggle ever since to make me care about these characters.
And there's supposed to be an underlying romantic aspect of the whole thing.
Tension between the two of them, yeah.
And none of it's been explained or explored or anything.
I still don't know the history of these two, how they met. How did they meet?
That's true.
None of this has been given to us.
We don't even know how half the crew met at all, do we? We've given no backstory to that at all. Maybe that's my problem. I don't even know how these characters met.
They all met in a restaurant in New York after the Battle of New York.
Eating shawarma.
I did like the one episode a while back where Kanan got overly nervous about meeting Hera's dad. That was a great touch. You know, you got the sense that he obviously cared more because he wanted to impress the dad. And I liked things like that. But it's been few and far between.
And it makes me feel like we've been rushed. We've had, how many seasons? Is this season 4 or 5?
4.
This is season 4. You've had how many seasons for her to say, I love you? And she says it, what, an episode ago?
Half an episode ago.
Half an episode ago. And now all of a sudden I'm supposed to be like, oh, poor Hera. She finally said she loves her, and now he's dead, you know?
Well, that was the point they were going for.
I get that, but it's like, you rushed it, and you had 4 seasons to not rush it, and you did it, so now, again, I guess I'm just a soulless jerk, and I'm just kind of like... But now I just didn't feel that connection at all, like between the two of them at all. I want to feel bad for Hera, like seriously,
because here's
my heart wants to break for her.
If they never acted like there was something between them for almost 2 full movies, the "I love you, I know" moment from Empire Strikes Back would have meant nothing.
Would have been
but because
pointless.
there was constant, you know,
back and
from
forth
from the very beginning, that whole fighting with each, I think thou doth protest too much type fighting, where it was like overly done. Even Han going, what do you think, a girl like her and a guy like me? And then you get to the second movie.
Luke goes, no.
And you get into the second movie, and she kisses Luke to make him jealous. Calls him a scruffy looking nerf herder. You know, they get to the thing later where they're in he takes her hand. He says, you like a scoundrel. I mean, there's been multiple moments where it got really far. So when that moment finally happens with the line, even though we just had 2 movies, we've only had like 4 hours, it's enough that you get the sense that there's a back and forth play between those 2 characters. We've had 4 seasons with Rebels, and I haven't felt that back and forth between Kanan and Hera, barely at all.
I agree, and I guess that's my problem here is now that Kanan's died, I'm kind of like that connection between him and Hera. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I didn't feel it at all.
And the last episode's going to not make you understand anything more.
Great. So it's only going to get better.
So we have a lot to look forward to in the next 4 episodes.
So part of me my heart did partially break for the young boy. So now I'm sitting here going, okay, so when it comes to Ezra, I feel bad for Ezra, only to the point that I kind of feel like his training is incomplete. He's not finished as a Jedi, right? So part of me says this is almost like Anakin being left in a lurch.
Or Luke
being left in a lurch.
Obi-Wan dying in front of him, sacrificing himself. I mean, that's what they're going for, is the whole the master sacrificed in front of the pupil, and the pupil is supposed to continue on. But again, we had an hour and 20 minutes of Obi-Wan and Luke.
Right.
And I felt way more connection between those two characters than I've felt between Kanan and Ezra for, again, 4 seasons. What have they not been doing right in this show to make this happen? Where they've got to telegraph. I mean, you've basically got to now, verbally, Ezra has to state how he feels.
Yeah.
I'm sad he's gone. I don't feel like my training's... I mean, he's telling you his motivation.
Complete, yeah.
You're not feeling it with him. You're being told it. And that's why it's lacking.
I guess that is the thing that's bothering me, is we're having to be told how they feel when feelings should be felt.
Right.
Well, it's in the word, you know.
I look at the way kids are growing up today. None of them have an imagination on their own.
Well, you're right.
I'll take it back. Maybe 2% of the population of children today have an imagination. Everything else is given to them. They give a video game where they don't have to make any decisions at all. You only do it this way.
Right. You're right.
You know.
No problem solving. None of that stuff's going on. You're right.
So
we've created a generation where we have to tell them how we feel.
Right. Can you think of a single scene through like 3 seasons, 3.5 seasons here, 4 seasons, almost 4 seasons, where Kanan like put his hand on Ezra's shoulder and Ezra looked at him and smiled? Any connection moments like that would have been like, I like these two. You know, it hasn't. I haven't seen things like that happen, and I feel like we needed more of those moments. It's even like Ben congratulating Luke. You've taken your first step into a larger world, and you know, being.
It's funny because you say that, and the first thing that came to my mind was the thousands of times that Kanan yelled at Ezra about picking up a Sith cube, about making the connection with the spider things that he made the connection with, like yelling at him, like.
Yelling at
bickering with him the whole time.
Yelling at him when the monster comes up out of the
that's what I'm talking about.
The abyss and takes out the.
Have they laughed together at anything? Have they bonded in those kind of ways? I mean,
not that I can remember.
Because even with even where you could say, I didn't feel much between Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Rex actually laughed with them more than Kanan did.
But think of like Obi-Wan and Anakin, even in Attack of the Clones.
Right.
Yeah, you could. Granted, that was nowhere near the characterization of Luke and Obi-Wan, but even they joked a tiny bit in the elevator ride up, talking about falling into the nest of Gundars. And
that doesn't count. There's
just little moments of humor that at least help connect people, and I haven't felt those.
And to all those Star Wars fans out there, that was in the poorly written prequel trilogies that everybody complains about.
And if you're looking for a father figure with the kid, Zeb.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Zeb is more of a father figure than Kanan ever was to him. And so I guess that's my problem is, to me, this is going to sound bad. Gary will probably agree. I think they killed the wrong character.
You think Zeb should have died?
Yeah. I know that's crazy, but don't you think there would have been more connection if Zeb had died? I mean, I think there'd be more loss if Zeb had died than if Kanan had died. And I can't believe I'm actually saying that, because I like Zeb.
I will say that Kanan seems like the almost too predictable death.
Right.
Like you set the leader up to die to make everybody else. It's like, what if that's your leader?
Right.
But what if your friend had died, not the leader? That could almost, I could see where that could be more impactful. Obviously, they're doing certain things with their storytelling elements in these next 4 episodes that Kanan had to be the one to die.
Right.
But the emotion's not there.
I'm going to disagree again who the leader of the group is.
I think Hera's the leader.
Yeah.
All right. Had she got killed?
I would actually probably felt that.
Right.
I gotta admit, if Hera had died, I actually would be upset. Like that, there were 2 people that if they died, I would have been upset. If Hera had died, I would have been upset. And I hate to say it, if the Mando Sabine had died, I would have been upset.
You know,
but those are the only 2 characters I feel any sort of connection to at all.
Okay, this is how I would have done the whole thing. I'd kill Hera off, have Kanan go to the dark side, and go and waste to
the Imperial waste base.
Right. Where Vader had to come in to squash him.
And that would have been interesting, yeah.
Right.
Or even the Emperor to come in to squash it. That would have been just as cool.
Vader himself come in and do it.
Yeah.
They could have, basically what we're saying is, they could have told more interesting stories than the ones they picked.
Right. And the decision to kill Kanan maybe wasn't a good decision. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it just maybe not a good decision. There could have been a better character to kill off.
Then we're talking what is effectively a kid's animated cartoon.
We are.
Being super dark about a guy having the one he loved get killed, and he goes dark and goes murdering people, and then Vader comes in and murders him. There's a lot of death for a kid
But
show.
look at Clone Wars. I mean, again, I go back to right, we always go back to the pinnacle, right, which is Clone Wars of the cartoon series. Look at all the death in the Clone Wars. I mean, there's no doubt Clone Wars got pretty dark towards the end. I mean, it got very dark towards the end. And to me, part of me says they could have gone that direction here again. And I think it would have been okay. I think, but I almost wonder if LFL was afraid to go there again, And the sad part was, that's when all the fans got into Clone Wars. They got into that dark stuff. And they should have been noticing that, and they should have played to that. I think that would have worked in their favor.
Right, which I think the big thing with the Clone Wars is it came right off of the heels of, going into the heels of
Revenge of the Sith. Absolutely. And everything had to get dark in some way.
Right.
I mean, Revenge of the Sith was not going to end well no matter how it came out. We knew that. Anakin's going to turn into Darth Vader. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, and we knew it had to get dark at some point. So let me ask you guys this. We have all that going on. And then somewhere in the middle of all this, we've got this little mini battle going on with Sabine and Zeb and Rook. And Sabine kind of figuring out that the whole reason that the Imperials are reeling now and why they're having a parade is because suddenly they've realized they have no more fuel to run their plant.
Basically, the factories have come to a stop, so they've accomplished their mission. They've stopped production on these TIE fighters.
Right.
TIE interceptors.
Did you notice they seemed pretty shocked that they accomplished their mission? Like, I was kind of like, you should be cheering, like, yay! And they're like, well, maybe we accomplished our mission.
Tempered by the death.
The death, I get it, but I'm still at the same time, like, I don't know. Even with the death, I would have been kind of like, hey, we accomplished our mission, guys. This is, we can. His sacrifice was for a good reason and a good cause. You could be happy about that partially because he sacrificed for a good reason. Instead, we just, I don't know, we really mulled in the sorrow here.
So, didn't that fight with Rook at the end?
Yeah.
When Zeb starts beating on Rook and Sabine stops him, I had the point I made while watching it saying,
I was going to bring your point.
Well, didn't she just place a bomb on a speeder bike and blow up 2 random stormtroopers and had
three
no trouble with that? But for gosh sakes, don't beat up Rook because he's right. So basically, she's kind of
hypocrite
and like a coward because she'll kill him from a distance but won't kill him in front of her.
Yeah.
Well, that's the difference between killing pawns and killing a rook.
How long have you been waiting to use that one?
Last time you were talking about it.
Oh, man.
So I kind of.
That's why I saw the gears turning over there.
I kind of didn't understand what was their whole final thing where she spray painted him.
I think they made him look like a clown to send him back.
And they just sent him back in that. Like,
yeah,
that's stupid. He's gonna wash off and come after you again.
Right. And he's a Nogri. You think making him look like a clown really affects him at all?
Well, the whole cloaking device and everything on him and all that.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I know that was to identify who he was, but now she painted him up to look like a clown and they sent him back to base.
But remember, there's no personal cloaking devices.
Okay. So, what are you trying to say there?
Well, it's everybody claims there's no cloaking devices on individual people.
Well, that's just not true. We know that.
Exactly.
I like...
Which makes my armor validated.
Predator tag.
True. I mean, I like the battle. I like the concept behind the battle. I just didn't like the way it ended. I really wish they would have let Zeb kill the guy. I mean, like, why not? I'm actually back in Gary and Tara's court. Like, here's a good death we could have had that would have been justified. And I would have been okay with it.
They're taking the approach that heroes...
Don't kill.
Death isn't justified. You can find other ways. I mean, they're trying to put messages in here.
I get it. I just don't like it.
Of course not.
I don't like the message, I guess. That might be part of my problem here. In certain cases, sometimes it has to be justified. In certain cases. There are bad people, I'm sorry, and it has to be justified. And and there's no way around that. I guess that's.
And
my
like I said,
viewpoint.
it's justified to have these bombs go off and kill lots of
random people,
stormtroopers
right.
who just are doing the foot soldier work and go home to wives and kids. But the monster Rook that is an assassin for the Empire,
probably doesn't have a family.
Let's pay him like a clown, and
Right.
that's revenge enough.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the other side of the storyline too is that these Loth wolves are now talking to
We have that whole sequence.
Ezra, and
Which went on so long. They chase him into a field, then they chase him across the field in the other direction, then they knock him down, then he wakes up, then he's lost, and then he goes to sleep again, and then he wakes up again, and he's on a rock in a different dimension with a different sky, and there's more wolves. It's like, oh, you're padding.
how
Oh
long
my
can you
God.
drag this on?
Very
and
dragged
part of
out.
me was like, I had to listen really. I mean, I don't know if you guys felt like this way, but I really had to listen hard to what they were saying.
Yeah.
They say it so slow. It's almost as bad as the Ents in Lord of the Rings. I was just kind of like, get to the point already. And then it was almost like listening to Mother Talzin, because there's this weird...
Yeah, I was gonna say that I understood the ants better than I understood.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just, I don't...
Who are you?
Right, it's like you had to drag every word out. That's about right. There you go.
We'll have a growl to it.
Yeah. And it's just like, and he was saying words, and it, like he was said Jedi, but it took me like 5 minutes to process that he said Jedi. I was like, oh, Jedi Temple. Okay, now I get. But I shouldn't have to be sitting here going, what is he? What is it? Okay, now I get it. I shouldn't have to do that. It should be pretty clear.
What they should have been talking is in an English Cockney accent. Or,
Hey, mate, you gotta go down to the Jedi Temple. Go there.
Exactly, yeah.
Go to Bangers.
That's your English accent?
Yeah, I'm not good at accents.
I don't quite know where that was from.
Come on, Ian. Give us feedback on that.
Yeah, he knows my English accent sucks.
Make him talk like the Beatles. I think you need to go to the Jedi Temple. They're going to need a little help there, don't you know?
And then we get this tablet, and I don't know what to think of the tablet. There's a fist, there's a hand sideways, and a hand facing up. All I can think is, we're about to go play rock, paper, scissors, people. I mean, like, that's all we got left, right? I mean, like, go to the temple, play rock, paper, scissors, whoever wins, you're in.
And this is the ultimate in crutch storytelling.
Right.
We don't have ways of getting important information to our characters. Literally, we're going to have magic wolves give them what they need to tell them where they're going. And that's the storyline we're presented. Magic wolves are going to give you information. Who would have thought in Star Wars, I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to see in Star Wars. That to me works with the storyline.
Something tells me it's going to get worse.
Hey, if it's in with the blue whales.
This is true.
The space whales.
Space whales,
fly,
the fly.
Yep. Hyperspace speed.
Yeah. and it can.
But here's the thing: those things never.
contact you
You know
through the
what?
Force.
Did they? They didn't really talk to those things, though, did they?
Well, they talked to them through the Force, right? If I remember correctly.
Ezra talked.
Well, here's the thing: Ezra.
Right.
I'm a little more okay with that because again and again we're implying Ezra has animal connections with his Force ability, but then we're forgetting about that at times because he apparently can't really communicate with these wolves at all well, even though they talk English to him. What do you want from me? Oh, spiders, who I know exactly what they're doing. It's like,
yeah,
what the heck?
They're being ruled by the A-Wing.
Right.
Queen of the Spider King.
Spider people.
She's just going to come charging into Lothal in the last episode, I know it, with a whole spider army.
So,
I'd have been so happy if that was.
That would have been awesome. So, with a little conch. That would have been great. So, all right. Gary, you and I had the same thought process when it came to the Loth Wolves, and I kind of agree with you on this. I believe, I don't know how you felt about it, Eric, that the Loth Wolves are actually
Fallen
Jedi, or like a reincarnation of the Jedi. So each Loth Wolf might be representing a Jedi that died on Lothal.
Right. Well, I mean, they bluntly said when the giant wolf appeared, the biggest one we've ever seen, and Ezra goes, "Who are you?"
And he said,
"DUME." So are they basically saying, "Hey, look, I am the reincarnation or the spirit animal of
DUME?"
Kanan.
Right. Do you think Ezra believes that? Like, do you think he's bought into that?
I think he has.
Yeah. Because he doesn't really show it if he does.
Right. I would have been like, Kanan, how'd this happen? Why are you a wolf now? What's going on? Tell me something. Give me information.
Well, I mean, even if he was my master, I'd at least go up and like hug his friggin' paw or something, like show some sort of emotion, like, oh my gosh, there you are,
Put a stick and be like, who's a good master? Who's a good master? You are. Chase the stick.
Go get the fucking stick, stupid. Go get the stick.
No, it can take the lightsaber and throw it.
Bring back. And then it comes running back and it has the tablet in its mouth. That would have made more sense to me that it gave him the tablet that way.
Rock, paper, scissors.
It fetched it.
Re-reggie.
Zoinks, man.
Yeah, I didn't understand. I like the idea of the Lothwolves representing Jedi and fallen Jedi. It would have been better if they just somehow connected that in.
It would have just been better if there's just the Force spirits.
Right, like I would have been okay with that. Like, pull that back in. I would have been okay. Even the stupid owl, I'd have been okay pulling that back in. But the Lothwolf
I don't understand the owls. I don't know what happened to what's her name. I don't know if they bring her back in the last couple episodes. Ahsoka. Which I thought I heard something that maybe she does make an appearance in these last couple episodes.
Well, you want me to tell you that?
No, it's okay. We'll see it. We only got 4 episodes to go. But,
Gary's seen them all.
But it's like there's so many things they like. Hey, let's hint at something with this,
right?
And then they go nowhere with it.
Yep, I agree.
And there's so much of that in this dang series.
So I think we pretty much wrapped up that the episode at this point.
So wait, how's it end? So it ends with him coming back with a tablet.
Right.
The Zeb and Sabine tell Hera, "Hey, we did complete our mission." Then she says, "We've still got a chance."
Right.
To do what? To beat them. You've beaten them, so now what's your next chance?
That's what I was kind of wondering. Like, what is their next chance?
She has
at this
a new plan, I guess. And then that's when Ezra walks in and goes, "I know what we need to do next. We need to go save the temple." It's like,
and part of me said,
out of nowhere,
the three of them should have looked at him and gone, "Temple? Who cares about the freaking temple? Like,
and what's this rock you're carrying?"
Yeah.
The Temple of Doom.
Right.
DUME.
Yeah, DUME.
The Temple of DUME. It's French.
So that was the ending, and I was kind of like at the end, I'm kind of like, I really at this point don't care about the end. I don't know.
Their storytelling is just so all over the place.
It is weird. It is just weird.
Yeah, for the person that wrote this one, it was a really bad episode.
And let me guess, that's Filoni?
Yes.
Okay, so should we rate this one? I guess that's where we're at, right?
Yeah.
So 0's a don't bother, 10's a must see. Anybody want to rate first?
I'll go first.
Go ahead, Gary.
3.
3. Okay, why a 3?
It just dragged on too long. It could have been added to the last episode. It would have been all right.
I agree. It could have been an ending, a cap onto the last episode. I actually was going to give this one a 4 myself, just below a average episode. I wanted to believe, I wanted to have some connection to it. I just wasn't into any of that stuff. Now, I gave it a 4 only because I did like the fight scene with Rook. I liked the personal cloaking machine. That was cool. I loved all that. I did like the fact that the Mando put the bomb under the speeder bike, let the guys pull out the data card, get blown up. That was all cool stuff. There were little things, nuances of things that I was cool with and I was okay with, but for a majority of it, I was kind of like, I'm not sure this, where we were going with this. I liked the Lothwolf idea that they are reborn Jedi, and that maybe the Jedi have been with Ezra this whole time from the planet. Cool idea. I'm good with that, but again, a majority of it just it's not there. How about you, Eric?
I was also going to give it a 4.
Okay.
So much of the
we are
so much of the Lothwolf subplot of this just took forever. He was just running in a field, sitting on a rock, being confused, being afraid. Now go save the temple. What? Here's a rock that shows you should go save the temple. It's like it's such a scattered form of storytelling. But I did also like the Rook bit, the fight. I do wish it had ended differently than let's spray paint him like a clown and send him back.
Yeah.
I did like. I actually liked some of the interaction between Thrawn and what's her name,
Price.
Governor Price. I like that he, I will deal with you later, and he's threatening her, and he understands that she made a major mistake, and this at least brought a little more information to my upset last week with last week's episode that we watched of her blowing up the fuel tanks and being like,
what's the significance of it?
Why are you doing that? That's a stupid thing. Well, at least people go, that was stupid. You're going to get punished for it. So I did like that. Thrawn, as usual, is pretty imposing and menacing, and they do a good job with him. But that was about it. So much of it I didn't like. I don't know where we're 4 episodes away. I was
about to say, we're 4 episodes from the end. What do you guys feel?
I should feel this through line of dramatic importance and ratcheting it up tension. And no, all of a sudden now we're saving the temple, which we haven't talked about in ages. And it's like they're bouncing all over. I still don't feel like I know what the Loth Wolves. You've put so much importance onto these things. They've been your MacGuffin to solve certain issues and problems and to be there when needed and to transport our heroes to get them out of trouble and to bring information and now drop a tablet right in front of Ezra. They are this cheap crutch of getting information to these characters, and they're not making much sense to me, and they don't seem to fit in with Star Wars lore, and so I'm just pulled out by that. So we're 4 episodes out, and I don't feel like I did a season or 2 ago when we were cranking up that thing, going to the Sith temple, and there's Maul, and there's the Night Sister and the Night Brother, whatever, the brothers and sisters going after him, and then there's Vader coming in, and granted they had Vader on top of it, but it's like that season felt like it was building to something those last couple episodes and really got somewhere. This feels just like it's floating aimlessly.
And better yet, I mean, when you really look at the Loth Wolves, I mean, it's kind of hard for you not to think like this, but it's turned into the sonic screwdriver.
Yep.
Yeah.
When in doubt, turn to the Loth Wolf. It's kind of like, I don't know what else to do. Let's turn to the Loth Wolf. The really weird thing is, I think where Rebels went wrong, at least is up until this point, I don't know if it's going to get better in the last 4. I know Gary knows. I think where they went wrong is when they stopped having the Inquisitors. Night
they've
Sisters,
given
brothers,
up on that.
whatever.
They've given up
the
that
whole
thing.
Inquisitor thing. When it went out the door, I started to really lose interest in the show because
they weren't even all
sudden,
dead. Some got away.
Right. There's no major antagonist here that really makes me want to jump in.
Right.
Thrawn works to an extent, but he's not going to be able to go toe to toe with Kanan and
Thrawn
Ezra.
is an Emperor style overall arching menace, feeling of menace. But you need a Vader, a fighter, something. And Rook doesn't do it.
No, it's not enough.
Thrawn is our Tarkin. Where's our Vader?
Yeah.
Right, we're missing the Vader. You're right. We're missing the big guy.
Price is definitely not it.
Yep. So
it needs, we're just
we're
lacking.
falling short. We really are. And this last season in particular, I think we really are. And I know there's all these people out there like, I love this show. I don't get it. If you love this show,
and it's great you love
this last season, I'm glad you do.
Right.
Maybe you can explain to me what it is you love.
I'm never going to be one of those people going, you're stupid for loving this.
No, I won't be like that either.
I'm glad people are getting enjoyment out of it. I'm glad.
I just wish people could explain to me in a way that I could understand why you love it, because I'm not getting that vibe out of the show. I don't feel that way about it.
Agreed.
Okay, so those were our thoughts about this episode of Star Wars Rebels. We'd love to hear from you. Head on over to GalaxyCast.com. Email us at galaxycast@gmail.com. Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook. Find us everywhere, YouTube. We'd love to hear what you have to say. And as we like to say here in the Star Production Studios, may the Force be with those who listen. No Jedi Master Dillian that time. I was kind of disappointed, you guys.
Or Shatterpoint.
I actually was going to say, by the way, when they blew up the fuel tanks, they hit at Shatterpoint. But I stopped myself.
Okay, folks from YouTube land, we'll see you next time. See ya.